water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. After today, I'll be back into protection of Exuma Sound. I'll have some big blue water up in northern part of the Bahamas. I head up to the Avocos, I go out on the outside in the Atlantic to make a run up one night. Don't really care for the night sailing by myself, but sometimes the distances, there's just no way to get around it. Gotta go at night so you can make a daytime landfall. So sometimes that means leaving in the middle of the night. Like the other day I got up, was underway about 4. Sometimes it means leaving at 4 in the afternoon so you get in there at the right time the next day. Waiting for the weather. Making it enjoyable instead of a miserable experience. This boat is good, like 15 knots of wind. Rides pretty comfy. That's what I've got today. Yeah, it's been holding anywhere from about 12 to 17 knots. Seas aren't too big, and it keeps the boat moving. I didn't want to get in good daylight so I can see the coral. I prefer to be able to see it real well when I go into this bay that I'm headed into. I could sail this easy enough. But under sail, I probably wouldn't get in till 5 o'clock. And then I'm starting to get marginal on light, especially if all those clouds set up. That 5-knot average. We are about 9 miles from my waypoint, and then I've probably got another 5 miles past that, another hour. I don't keep myself snapped in, but I do keep my harness on, so I can snap in into my jack line and move forward. I prefer to stay in the cockpit since I'm sailing. I don't go out there very much. I'm a tall, lanky guy on a skinny, small boat. Bang! Wind don't ease up yet. So we need to mind about another 5 knots. That's what happened to me yesterday in the afternoon. My wind died. I'm hoping as I get closer to this cape, I get a little cape effect there. Accelerate the wind a little bit around it. Figuring to hit that in about 3 or 4 miles off the peninsula. Maybe a little bit more, but it's not that windy today, so I don't think it'll be that far out. As the wind hits the point, and it'll start to wrap around it, it'll accelerate something. Also, we can turn it back into the bay a little bit, which is the direction I'm going, so it'll be good for me. A few rollers out here every once in a while, not too many though. Once in a while you're sort of sailing around and all of a sudden you feel you've gone over a hill and you're going back down. The boat picks up, settles in. So you want to be a sailor, do you, little Johnny? not hard to do. Just got to have a desire to do it. People scoffed at me when I told them I was going to take this 28-foot boat and go do what I did with it. Like, but why? It's made for sailing in this kind of weather. And I'm not sailing for days and days between islands, so I can pick my weather and go when I want to. When you have a schedule, you can get yourself in a pinch. See, that's what happens when the wind starts to lighten up. The sail will collapse and it pops back open again. Not good for the boat. What do we got? We got 10 knots now. I guess it's just a little swell in that combination. Alright, enough excitement out here. I guess I could turn the camera around. You can look at the land getting bigger very slowly. The joys and the high-speed excitement of sailing. I like throttles. I am a powerboat guy by heart. But bang for the buck when it comes to gasoline and diesel. You can't beat a sailboat. Yes, I have ran the motor a good portion of my trip. But I keep it running at a real low RPM. It just keeps the boat underway. It normally adds about a knot speed to the boat, which is often 20 to 25% boat speed, so it really makes a difference. I figure by the time I here and back, somewhere around maybe 100 gallons of fuel, and I've gone 1,500 miles, give or take. I was doing the numbers against my old trawler, which was very fuel efficient because it had a round bottom on it. And I burned about 1.7 gallons an hour and won about 7 knots. Little math tells you how many gallons that is. Buying fuel when it's cheap, you have really big tanks, and you're buying it in the States. It's much cheaper than over here in the Bahamas, where it's almost $5 a gallon. So if you can tank up a lot of fuel before you leave and only have to add some while you're here, or not much to get back. But if you're coming down for any length of time, at some point, you got to pull up the pump and fill up that 200-gallon tank at $5 a gallon, and that hurts. But it sure is more fun getting from A to B, and then you have a bigger boat when you get there for the same length. And if you really have some money, you got one you can put the throttles to and make this a 2-hour trip instead of my 8-hour trip today. All it takes is green and some diesel. What you want is about a 60-foot long boat 11 foot wide. And that sucker will move, and it won't burn a lot of fuel. The problem is, everywhere you go to do anything with a boat, they charge you by the foot. And a 60-foot boat, it's going to be expensive to dock it, to haul it, to do anything. But when it's narrow like that, it'll slice through the water. Very little horsepower. Alright, signing off from the SV Wanderlust. Cheers.